And here we are at the very end, and I think I'm going to miss these characters a lot, so much so that I'm going to find it very hard not to jump straight into Words of Radiance right away, because I know that I have to read other things beforehand so that I can get a good grasp on what has been happening before I start the Words of Radiance. But I just really like the characters a lot, and it's taking a lot of willpower not to crack that bad boy open, but looking forward to reading more of Sanderson's work for sure. Okay, so we get more revelations here. The character arcs are winding up somewhat, and the ending doesn't leave major cliffhangers, but leaves some questions that pique your curiosity, and I found it hard not to jump straight into Words of Radiance, as I just said, but I think it's as if Brandon did that on purpose, because if he would have left irresistible cliffhangers, everyone would have gone straight into Words of Radiance without reading other stuff first. Maybe that's a wrong theory, but I'll go with it. So let's talk about Shallon. So several major revelations are here. She thinks upon what she's done, because she has committed an illegal act against Jasnar, and we learn a little bit about what she's been hiding, and it's massive. It is a bombshell. I had no idea, didn't see it coming. It came out of left field. And we also learned something profound about the Parshendi, and more notably the Parshmen. Now the Parshmen are a relation to the Parshendi, but they're used as slaves and helpers around farmsteads and cities and things like that. They don't say much, they just obey commands, but is something big going to happen in relation to that? We will see. So Shallon is faced with a choice. Does she stay in Kalbrath with Jasnar as she prepares to journey to the Shattered Plains, or does she go home to Jarkaved to be with her family? Who knows? We don't know yet. Now let's talk about Szeth, the assassin. Oh my God, after the deeds he's committed, he turns up to his latest task and leaves you reeling, because you do learn about who is behind the assassinations that occur in the book, and it is absolutely massive. And he says when he arrives, I'll quote him, "I have come to tell you that the others are dead. I've come to finish the job." But nothing is what it seems. And I was thrilled that I found out the relevance of the epitaphs, or the death rattles, or the opening last words of the dying at the start of the earlier chapters. I was really curious from the get-go, and it was so satisfying to get these answers. And with Kaladin and his Bridge 4 group, their lives are changed forever after the latest massive epic battle between the Alethi and Parshendi, which I touched upon in part 4. It was absolutely incredible. I think the most obvious change in Kaladin is how all through the book he has been battling these demons, where he has survivor's guilt, where he claims that why should he live when he can't save anyone that he cares about. And that all sort of resolves itself with his new sense of purpose and how his life is changing, and his new vocation, if you will, which I won't reveal here, but I'm looking forward to seeing how he handles his next appointment, if I can say that. But very keen to find out about that. And there are payoffs everywhere in this part. Alright, let's talk about Dalinar. He has a final vision where he views some future events this time, and it's hinted at that a massive evil is coming and a major conflict is going to be on the cards. Okay, so let's wrap it right up, shall we, with some final thoughts. It is a big book, make no mistake, but you don't need to be intimidated, because once you get into it, Sanderson's writing will wrap you up all cozy in a rug, because even though he doesn't handhold you through it, he has your best interests at heart. So his writing's very accessible, very easy to read, and he has a very good flow and pacing, and that's saying something, because I've read the first 4 books in the Malazan Book of the Fallen, and they are dense. They are dense and very hard to retain what happens in them. I mean, I've forgotten most of Memories of Ice, for God's sake. So I can say after reading this book, I have retained a lot of the events, and that's down to Sanderson's writing, which is accessible and flowing and very smooth. And yeah, I remember nearly everything. Now, you need to be patient because there is a bit of setup in the book, okay? And there has to be with epic fantasy like this because it's a gradual thing, and it does take a little bit of time to build up. But it's done very subtly without detracting you from the story. So you'll learn about the world building as you go, and you won't have pages and pages of needless exposition because he dishes it out very, very subtly and very strategically, which it helps the flow of the story, if you can believe that. The characters. You can't spend 1,200 pages with these characters and not like them. Even Shellen, even though her motives may not be noble or she might be doing something illegal, you still find yourself caring about her because she's wanting to save her family from financial ruin, and despite her faults, I really liked her a lot. Dalinar is a fantastic character. He's very complex. I felt sorry for him throughout the book because he goes through various ordeals, causing his king and fellow high princes to shun him and despise him and call into question his very sanity. Wit is the court comic. He's an enigma to me, and he spends a little bit of time with Kaladin telling him a story, and it's pretty obvious that he is something of a world hopper and inhabits different worlds within the Cosmere. So he is the first constant of the Cosmere we meet. Now, you're going to have a lot of questions. You need to bear with it, okay, because you begin to get answers in part 3. And parts 1 and 2 allude to the happenings of Kaladin's past, and I really like how Kaladin's backstory timelines converge with the present, because you get to find out why he feels like he does against the Light Eyes, and you learn more about Syl, the Windspread, and why she's tied to Kaladin. There are moments in this book that are jaw-dropping. I am not going to reveal those, but I guarantee the book as a whole will satisfy you, because Brandon looks after his readership. He gives you the answers, and he has your best interests there, and you have to trust him. Now, I have to tell you, the prologue can be a little bit confusing with the opening scenes of the assassination from Szeth against King Galavar. I found the concept of lashing a little bit hard to get my head around, but I found once I got through the prologue, I found I can pick up everything really well after that, and after reading the book as a whole, I have a much better understanding of how lashing works and how Stormlight can be used for different purposes, which was really, really interesting. And you learn more about the magic systems as the story goes on. Now, the legends and lore is very rich in antiquity and history, and learning about just subtle, tantalizing bits about the Radiance and the Heralds is just unbelievable. Now, overall, I managed to average about 100 pages a day, which is a fair click. So I finished it in 14 days. And I finished the last few pages at 1 a.m. last Sunday, so I got a hell of a book hangover from it. But it was a good book hangover because I had finished it. I was really proud of myself. I enjoyed it. I was satisfied with the answers that I was given. So I was so glad I picked it up and started with this book rather than Mistborn, because I thought I wanted to dive deep into the Cosmere, and the Way of Kings was the book to do that, because I felt if I got through the Way of Kings and enjoyed it, I'm bound to enjoy the rest of the books. And I just wanted to get my hands dirty and deep dive, and I'm so glad I did it, because now all I want to do is get back to Words of Radiance, and can't do that until I read a couple of things in the Cosmere reading order. But look, if you haven't picked it up and you're intimidated by the length, don't be. Okay, I thoroughly recommend this book, and you'll love the characters, and the battle scenes alone are just fantastic. The flora and the fauna, the chasm fiends, which are big crustacean crab-like creatures with a tri-head, and they're just giant, and they have gem hearts that the war parties race to harvest before the other party gets there. It's just absolutely fantastic. All the characters have history and backstories. All of them are, Dalinar, Shellen, and Kaladin in particular are all destined for greater things. They're going to serve a high purpose, and I can't wait to find out what that is all about. But that is it. That's pretty much all I have to say. This wraps up the whole epic reading vlog, and I really enjoyed this. I'm going to do more of these moving forward because I just love the format, because I didn't have to do a massive big review after finishing the book. I could break it up into bite-sized chunks and talk about each part as I finish them, and certainly going to be looking at doing more of those in the future. In particular, I'm thinking of doing, I think it's called Blackwater, by Michael McDowell in February, which is a big chunker of a book, and there's various parts to that one, so I might do a reading vlog on that one. I will eventually do Shogun. I'm not sure when, but I just can't wait to read more Cosmere books, so bring it on. If you've read Way of Kings, hit me up with a message and let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree with some of my points on what I enjoyed, and yeah, would love to interact with you about that. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for joining me through this epic reading vlog. I have had a blast doing this, and can't wait to do more. So please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll promise to deliver the best content I can. But until the next video, guys, happy reading.